Hello, welcome back to Phantom Power Hour. If this is your first time, welcome. If it's not your first time, welcome. If it's going to be your third time because you're rewatching, welcome. Thanks for stopping by. If you haven't already, you know what you could do? You could hit that subscribe button. We are so close to getting into 4 digits on that subscriber number, and it would just warm my heart if you went down and clicked it. Just click subscribe.
And do it for Josh, not for me, because this is his show. It's not mine. I've got my own show, so...
But if you like Jeremy more than me, which is understandable, then do it for him. You know, just...
If you dislike me, hit subscribe, because he's... Look at his hair.
Look at it. Just look at it. And before we even jump into it, if there's an artist that you know, or it's your band or something like that, and you get criminally low plays, or just somebody that you really dig and not enough people know about them, drop it in the comments. Let us know. We always want to hear new stuff, specifically new stuff that is just not getting the listens that it deserves. So
the algorithm is a fickle thing.
Fickle pickle.
Hard to get around. And we do those record recs typically at the end, but
we do.
We figure if we share this early, you're going to share some more music. So.
Exactly. Indubitably, even. I realized that since we started record recs, I think last episode was the first one without them.
What was the last episode?
The Dungeons and Dragons episode.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Which was, to be fair, a long day.
That was.
And
it was a very long day.
We wrapped up and we were hungry boys, so we went and got nom-noms in our tum-tums. But, man, I had a good time with that episode.
That was one of the most fun times I've had filming a video ever.
Which, not a lot of other people thought it was as fun.
Was not a popular video.
I will say, those that watched it seem to have dug it. It has a pretty good like ratio on your channel.
The comments on there... It's very good like ratio. It's very good retention as far as like how long people watch.
Mm-hmm.
And some of the comments are like, "This is the best. This is how plug-in reviews should be done." Yeah. Like there's a few people pissed. I get.
They were also saying this is the best, dumbest idea ever. Which that's fair.
Right up my alley, I guess.
Yeah, there were shorts specifically got a lot of hate. Mostly for the art, which I on one hand can understand the mindset behind being frustrated about it.
I get it.
But my 2 cents real quick is that the AI art was fully on me. You didn't ask for it. You didn't even know that there was going to be much of it until I kind of presented you with that.
Honestly, when I saw it, I was like, this is cool.
I thought so too. So my mindset from the beginning of all that was, how can we make this experience even more immersive? And if there was any kind of budget, it would be so dope to hire somebody to create like custom character art. Like that would be the coolest thing ever.
Yeah.
Budget, we have not. There is none of that to go around. And even if we could like get a few bucks together, that wouldn't be a fair rate to pay somebody to come up with custom artwork for stuff.
Here, I've had some thoughts about this.
Hit me with your thoughts. Hit me with your best thoughts.
Art and AI, I totally get it. I get where it's coming from. And then they're like, well, what if it takes your jobs? I have an interesting case here. Okay, let me settle in here. So I have clients who I've worked with in the past, and because of like where I'm located, the price bracket we're located in, like we're in the Midwest. This isn't Nashville, like we're not in a music center, but I'm also not like the cheapest place to record. So I'm like kind of in an interesting spot here. A lot of the clients that we work with, a fair percentage of them, this is like their first time being in a recording studio. So there's like a good amount of like education that happens on that. So what's changed in the last couple of years, now people have access to create any instrumental they could ever ask for. And that's a lot of what we do here.
It's true.
Like sometimes people will come with lyrics and ideas and that's it. Well, now you can type all that crap into Suno and it spits out a pretty good song.
Yeah.
Like, I mean,
better in the past, I would say. It seems to be going downhill a little bit as of late.
The quality is definitely changing.
I'm sure that trend will change, though.
But so just in the last 3 weeks, I have had a client that I worked with, like, hey, I'd love your feedback on my new record. I'm like, well, one, I didn't see anything about your recording anywhere. Well, that's cool. Like, I'm glad it's working out. Like, I should be a stepping stone, right? Where people work with me, they go on to do the next big thing. That's awesome. That means they're doing something that's great. Well, I got the record. And I'm like, this is AI. This isn't even your voice. And I could tell. But this person was like, this is my record. And they posted it.
Oh, interesting.
Like, it's out there. Like, it's their record. And they say it's AI. But
they wrote the lyrical portions of the songs.
They wrote the lyric of it, and then they gave it a prompt.
Interesting.
And even like the female vocal throughout, like, kind of differs. And then you also have like that kind of like high frequency phasey thing.
Yeah.
But like, it's just a dead giveaway of AI.
Yeah. For now.
Yeah. It's not far off from being indistinguishable. So I guess the reaction would be like, well, Jeremy, aren't you pissed that they didn't record with you? Well, that was not a client I lost.
Right.
Like, they were never shopping for recording studios. They weren't going to hire anybody to do this. And the value of art that they got for that was pretty low. AI is an awesome tool, but it typically sucks for most things.
Well, and so to hop back to the visual art that we use for the video, I'm not going to like lie to you and say it was like at the front of my mind to let's keep this art looking like it obviously is AI. But
yeah,
I for sure didn't go out of my way to make it look not AI. Like, if you look, hands are weird. The pictures of the guys with the guitars, there's like one guitar that has an extra half of the neck just floating in space next to him. Like, in no way were we trying to pull the wool over anybody's eyes.
Well, and there's a notification at the beginning of the video, because like when you upload a YouTube video, it's like, do you have any AI content? And you click yes, and it gives, just like a paid promotion, it gives you like, there is AI content.
Yeah.
So
I think to bounce off of what you were saying and comparing this to like the AI in music, my thought in terms of a consumer of just entertainment, right? Which is kind of what we do. The classic LTT line is like, we're not a like computer company, we're an entertainment company, right? That's kind of how LTT views themselves, or a media company. You could argue, I think, that yes, you run a commercial studio, but in terms of YouTube, like it's media, it's entertainment and education.
Yeah.
So,
which is weird to think about, but
right? Yeah. So my point with that is, if I'm a consumer of entertainment and media, I would look at, let's say, a visual art channel. They specialize in maybe teaching different products for visual art, teaching different concepts and creating visual art. Yeah, I probably wouldn't want them to pass off AI visual art as their own. But if they are trying to create some kind of atmosphere or storyline and they have no musical prowess, I'm not going to be upset with them hopping on Suno and creating an atmospheric vibe to go along with the art that they're creating.
Yeah. I don't know. I can see both sides of it, I guess, but I think for me, it just comes down to not every case is somebody losing a client.
For sure. Yeah.
And like, even from the music side, this has been happening forever in the music industry. And I feel like people are definitely more sensitive to it because it's happening in more places, like code writers and obviously art and like anything that ChatGPT or name one of them can do for you. Like, somebody could potentially lose a job somewhere, but there's also like, this is a tool. Like, people have had access to cheap interfaces for decades at this point. Have certain studios closed because of that? I don't know. I don't really think so. Like, because people can doesn't mean they will.
Yeah.
You know?
I'm sure somebody out there will make an argument that, yeah, my studio closed because of that. But did it? I mean, that is hard to say. I think that the argument for every little bit of AI stealing a potential job, in my mind, the argument falls apart pretty quickly. Therefore, I don't think about that side as much. Again, just like based off the things I've said so far, my perspective was more so like considering what is this person or this channel or this entity, what do they specialize in?
Yeah.
And then are they being nefarious with their use of AI? That's where my kind of mindset goes initially, as opposed to how is this stealing a job? But I think one of the reasons that argument is rough for me is where does that line stop? Because if you're basing that, let's forget the term AI. Let's just think of this as product AI, right? And if you are arguing that this product is stealing a potential job, well, what about loops? Like, are you mad about loop packs and samples? Are you mad about the fact that somebody doesn't have to rent a B3 because they can use a MIDI version of it?
There actually that is the thing. What Kemper started that whole conversation with amp makers.
Yeah.
And so like there were amp developers specifically making their amps so they could not be profiled.
How do you make an amp that can't be profiled?
I don't know. I mean, back when Kemper was the only one doing it, there was like a certain sound signature that had to go through that amp. So if the amp, I don't know if they ever got anywhere with it. Go ahead, crack that.
Caffeine break.
Oh, what's on the menu?
This is a Redcon.
I've never seen that before.
I have used their powdered pre-workouts before. The gas station by the Powell's place. This is like one of the only energy drinks they have outside of Red Bull and Monster. So I've been drinking these every once in a while, and I saw it at this gas station here. I was like,
nice.
I'm gonna grab one of those. Don't get me wrong, still love my ghosty ghosts, but
I've got one for later.
There you go.
What was I saying?
I don't know. I completely derailed all of this. Where do I put you? What do I do with my hands?
Either way, we're not pros at this, man. When it comes down to it, one, I can't form words.
Me neither.
But my YouTube channel has like 50,000 subscribers, and I realized with some smaller channels, people would look at that and go like, "Oh yeah, well that's the dream. I wish I had 50,000." I'm stoked to have that. But in the realm of YouTube channels, I'm a baby YouTube channel.
Oh yeah.
And
is it Mr. Beast is like 170 million.
I don't think you can even include him in the average.
No, I know
but
that's completely just outside of any grasp. But
when you get to the point of having more than most nations, you can probably.
But if you start to look into channels and realize how like common it is for like 1 million plus subscribers, it's wild.
Don't make me feel worse than I do.
No, I'm not trying to. I think that 50 for this specific niche is nothing to shake a stick at.
No, but I agree. I'm just saying, like, I'm still figuring this thing out.
I think everybody is. That's a crazy thing.
Yeah.
And it's always changing. But to your point for subscriber count, I also caught this vibe a little bit, that sometimes people's perspectives are, they see that number of like 50,000, and in their head, they think this is a like fully self-sufficient studio with faculty because of this number.
Well, that'd be nice.
That would be great. It's not that. There's not, like I said at the top of this, there was no budget to hire an artist to make cool art for our little game that we wanted to play.
Yeah. I mean, that was a sponsored video. Those sponsorships don't bring in probably nearly as much money as you think.
Not as much as you think, no.
I mean, how long did you edit that video for?
A long time. Well, and
I mean, not that I pay you by the hour, but
no, and it was kind of like my little baby too, and it doubled as a podcast episode, so there was not literally twice the amount of editing, but it turned into 2 videos. So it took a while, but there were multiple camera shots. Everything had to get synced up, and whenever there's sound coming from the DAW, you got to make sure that it's sounding right in the room, make sure the mics aren't messing with each other. I had another weird instance. We talked on the phone about you were using a shotgun mic. I was using the SM7B.
Yeah.
So getting those things to match up. I also kind of talk loud. So if there was any kind of
booming voice.
Booming. Anyway, all of that to say, it takes a while to do it. And, budget's got to go other places, for now at least.
Yeah, hopefully. One day. Well, if you want to help the situation, hit that subscribe button.
If you really want to help it, look down in the description. There's a little link for Sweetwater. Go buy you something. Click the link. Buy whatever you want. Whatever will make you happy. It's the beginning of summer. If you have kids, they're home now. They're probably stressing you out. Go spend a little bit of money.
Go buy.
De-stress yourself.
De-stress.
Yeah.
Spend money. Consume.
Spend money. Be happy.
This isn't it. This is kind of an interesting topic. Like, do you have anywhere else you want to go with this?
Hey, lead the way.
Okay, I'm gonna follow me here for a minute. This is an interesting topic. Like, AI aside, let's put kind of that discussion of us specifically aside and talk just music stuff, because there is a comment that comes up quite a bit with like, well, why even bother? There's no money in studios. Like, people will comment on older videos that I've done. A few that I've talked about, like how to price yourself and all this stuff. And this was like before. It is weird to think like this was before AI. Like, how quickly that happened.
That quick tangent. At first we were old. Like, our generation is old because we can say before cell phones or before, like, you can't really say before internet, but we had landlines.
Yeah.
Before flat screen TVs.
Yeah.
But now the generation coming up, they're going to be saying before AI, and that's going to make them the old ones.
That's weird. But people will comment on old videos and basically say, like, what's the point? People can do this between having like affordable recording equipment and tools like AI. What's even the point? And I think we're starting to see it. Like, without a human touch somewhere, the shit sucks. Like,
yeah.
I'm just like, I don't know how else to say it. Like, it's a fun tool, and I love playing with Suno.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, recently it's changed how it works.
Yeah.
I don't know. Is it like if it's because it's sampling itself? Many times, but
yeah, I haven't nailed down the actual reasoning behind it. There's a lot of theories though, and a lot of people are in that boat thinking it's just kind of ingesting its own output.
You can tell it's spitting out like just cookie cutter. Like, you can put in any genre and it's gonna come out like garbage. But
not the band Garbage.
Oh, that would be dope though.
That would be cool.
Oh, that was one of the first records I ever bought.
Really?
Yeah, I had
Marilyn Manson and then Garbage.
Julio, Marilyn Manson, and Garbage.
Wow, eclectic taste.
Yeah, and I bought an Orgy record. We probably have to bleep that word out though.
Well.
But what was their first record? It was awesome. I don't remember. Anyway, all these, like, I use Suno quite a bit. I still play with it because, like, or any creative job, like getting inspiration from anywhere to be like, oh, that's taking me in a direction I didn't expect. Because sometimes the weird quirks and like unpredictability of what Suno is going to spit out can sometimes be like, okay, that sucked, but if I do it like this, like, then you can actually come up with some like cool inspiration when you're in like writer's block.
It's time to stop lying to the people, Jeremy. It's time to let them know everything that's ever come out of the studio has just been Suno slop. None of it's real. This whole thing's a facade.
God, that would make things easier, wouldn't it?
All the mics on the mic locker wall, cardboard cutouts that were AI generated.
It's all green screen. Do you think this is real?
I'm not even real.
We meticulously make this place look like a half cleaned up space.
That's different every time you see it. Oh, man.
But there's all that is like, there's still careers here. Like I feel like it's a hot take to be like, your job is okay. All things being equal, because people just want to like use it as an excuse, I guess. This feels harsh to say.
No, I understand the sentiment. I think it might be borderline outrageous to say that all jobs are safe. I think that there are going to be different aspects and different business lines that do kind of fall apart because of AI, like with its implementation, the same way that a lot of machine work has replaced a lot of factory workers and things like that. However, when it comes to the creative arts, I think there's always going to be a place for it, for human workers, I should say, human creatives. And regardless of how efficient AI gets, even if we can conceptualize some way that AI is capable of putting intention into its art, I still think that there is going...
Then it would become a consumer.
True. I mean, you can maybe argue that it already is a consumer.
Well, if this is about to be a weird conversation.
Hit me.
If AI starts developing with intention and understanding the emotion that it's putting behind something, it would also then appreciate and want to... I mean, obviously we're tossing words around and they could only mean so much when you're putting them to something that, like, objectively probably doesn't have a soul. But it would then become a consumer of other media. So there would be no difference really between like what is AI created and what is human created. Just one could do it faster.
I think that the difference would still lie in human limitations, which throughout history, throughout a bunch of different types of artistry, including things like engineering and architecture and stuff, I think the human limitations have provided a huge aspect to what makes this piece of art so undeniable.
Yeah.
You know? And then I think that just like now, people want handmade woven baskets instead of picking something up at Hobby Lobby that was pumped out of a factory. Yeah. We're always going to have that artisan desire as long as the economy holds up to allow for that, right?
Yeah. And it goes back to like, well, how do you... I guess I see more value in the consumer themselves. And this is not everyone. Like, not everybody can tell the difference between AI crap and what's human made.
True.
But I also don't think those are your major consumers of music anyway, or art, or insert whatever. You will have like your casual, I don't know, what do you want to call them? Casual consumers, where they're not really going to be spending money on this. And not that everything has to always come back to money, but that is the measurable aspect of if this industry is sustainable or not.
They've still got the free version of Spotify and zone out when an ad comes on.
Right. So they're kind of transient when it comes to like the industry as a whole. But if your target is to please that person every time, that's kind of weird in and of itself. Like, if you're creating art for yourself, you will find a market. There are people out there, and how large is that market? Who knows? But the long tail theory is like, that still holds true in every aspect of business, not just music, but using it as an excuse to be like, well, nobody's ever going to appreciate true art again. Like, I don't know about that. I feel like people are recognizing it and getting turned off pretty quick.
I think so. And again, that could just be a little hump that we're getting over, and soon it could be very unrecognizable, except for those with like really trained ears. And then potentially there's still a part where it could sound perfectly fine, but not feel perfectly fine. So there's that piece of the puzzle potentially as well. I was
even then, it's been like, people pick up on that. Like, think about how many records have been like over-tuned or over-edited. And then tons of people get turned off
I think that the masses, though, are not the ones that get turned off. I think that there is
True.
a lot of numbers. There's a lot of numbers behind the casual transient listener. But there is that number game, I think, is outweighed by the intentionality of the concerned listener, the listener that puts value to the music.
Yeah.
But I get what you're saying, though, and I don't disagree with the fact that they're looking across the history of music. Almost always, the stuff that blows up is the stuff where they are writing for themselves for some reason. Not always the case. There's a lot of examples that you could probably think of that doesn't fit that criteria,
Right.
but a majority of it does. I was having this conversation with my neighbor yesterday, actually. We were talking about stuff. He grew up, so this man does yard work all the time. Super awesome, very nice guy. And we somehow got on the topic of the moon landing. And he said that he grew up during the era. He saw it on TV. Then he started talking about other like crazy conspiracies that people have and stuff, and how you can't really trust anything that you see anymore because it's so easy to lie in this day and age.
I've met people who think Helen Keller's not real. I didn't even know that was a conspiracy theory.
That's a wild one.
I don't want to get into it.
I would need to know more before getting into that one.
Tossing that nugget out.
We talked about flat Earth, hollow Earth.
Hollow Earth.
Yeah, that's where the Nazis live. You didn't know that? Hitler's still alive. He's inside of Earth.
So many words to beep out in this one.
So
what? Is that real?
Yeah. Well, the conspiracy theory is real.
If you believe this, explain.
Explain.
I am. Go on.
So this prompted me to ask this guy if he's ever heard of the dead internet theory. And we just kind of got talking down that path. And I wanted to extrapolate on that a little bit, given this kind of context.
Okay.
So dead internet theory, I could get some things wrong, but my understanding in general is that as things like AI blossom and the ease of information manipulation across all of the internet becomes easier and easier and easier, the internet will essentially die because nobody can trust anything that's going on anymore. And I was just asking him if he had heard of that and if he wonders if we're going to go back to the times of like face-to-face communication, written media, instead of this like weird technological print on a screen that we use nowadays. And where I want to kind of take this a little bit further is as the arts, AI in the arts keeps growing and getting better, and the amount of people that can quickly discern that this is not human created music gets lower and lower and lower. Do you think that that is going to create this kind of dead internet of music where I don't want to listen to stuff streaming anymore? I'm just going to go to a show. That's the only way I'm going to know that it's actually a person. And
wouldn't that be awesome?
I'm going to buy their CD or their record or their digital download, if you know what I mean.
Wouldn't that be great?
That'd be cool.
Wouldn't that be great?
That'd be cool.
Yeah. No, I thought dead internet was basically that there's a lot of like just bots talking to each other. I have gone down this rabbit hole once or twice. So there's very little interaction for human, so your point in AI that makes a lot of sense. So then, given the limitations of AI, and who knows what could happen later, but like the things that people talk about with music now that make you stand out could make you stand out from AI music.
Yeah.
It's like, I guess you could make the argument that this is kind of devaluing music as a whole, and there's probably points to that, but then there's also a large point to where like, okay, so I don't know how else to say this without being like, this sounding just very cruel, but like the weak will give up because the noise level's higher.
Yeah.
Like there's more, and this happened with like home recording gear. Like more people were making music, so like some stopped because they couldn't get above the noise.
Yeah. Well, you can an even smaller microcosm, just local music scene. When there's more people playing out and around, I know plenty of cats that are just like, I'm just not gonna bother anymore.
Yeah, well, it could be like just you're not that interested. You never wanted to take it that seriously. Or maybe you find out your talent level isn't as high as the threshold around you. All of those are fine. But for whatever reason, those individuals stop. And then you have kind of the cream of the crop sticking around who still do the things that make you pop out, whether it's a human or AI or whatever. Like,
or there's people like me that's just too dumb to stop doing it.
but like, you do those behind the scenes things. You connect with your fan base because like that's what it's all about. There's that human aspect of having like a long time sustainable career.
Oh man, but if it's an AI band, then you can have a dedicated AI chatbot for every single fan 24/7 to create all of these. What's that type of relationship called when you believe that there is like this interpersonal relationship, but it's just you looking at somebody through a screen? There's a word for that. Tell me in the comments. I can't think of it right now, but you start.
Oh, that's dark.
It's a very real thing, especially with like people like Twitch streamers that are on, like they're streaming so often, and then these people watch, and that becomes their best friend that they're watching. That becomes like their main relationship of their life, even though it's not real at all.
That is interesting.
Yeah. But my point being, we could have an AI band and they can create these pseudo relationships. I need to look up what that's called. I'm sorry. I can't keep not saying what the actual word is.
You should ask AI.
Oh, I should.
Oh, he's doing it. I love that all your sidebars are title ideas.
Yeah, they really are. Oh, parasocial relationship. That's what it's called.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So ChatGPT says a parasocial relationship is a one-sided relationship where a person feels emotionally connected to a media figure like a streamer, YouTuber, or celebrity, even though that figure is unaware of their existence. These relationships are common with content creators who share a lot of personal details or present themselves in an intimate, relatable way. They are not inherently negative. Many people form parasocial bonds that provide comfort, entertainment, or even motivation, but they can become unhealthy if somebody begins to blur the line between the online persona and real-life access or entitlement.
Interesting.
Yeah. So it's a very real thing. And if we get full-blown AI-driven bands, I mean, you could have a parasocial relationship for every single fan 24/7.
But then you lose the social aspect. I don't know. Like, I feel like if you can't go tell people about your favorite band and it's not a different band for every person.
It would be, though. So, well, okay. Let's take a step back in the time machine, right? Go back to the days of Gorillaz. Their whole allurement was you don't know who's in the band. It's a band, but then their live shows are like these holographic.
I had to be like, how far are we going back? Like Gorillaz the animal or Gorillaz the band? And I was like, wait, okay, he means the band.
Gorillaz with the Z. Their live shows, though, were like these holograms of their caricatures, right? Imagine during that time if they could also implement this AI in each one of those personas is being a hologram. You could just DM and they would respond to you right away, no matter who it was. Every single fan in the world.
That is interesting.
Yeah, this is extremely dystopian. I don't want this to happen, but I can foresee this happening. Like,
but really, they'd just be merch bots. Yeah, how's your week been? We have a new T-shirt.
I don't know, man. I think by the time it gets to that level, I would imagine that there will be a level of complexity to weed out the people where that is the motive, and then weed out the people. We just make this bond as strong as possible because maybe it's they're a teenager, so they don't have capital to invest in this entity right now. But if we make this bond as strong as possible, by the time they're working and making money, they're going to come to every show. They're going to buy every merch drop. We need to make them love us.
Dude, this is like
Hey, we see it happening with real people though.
Yeah.
Like look at Taylor Swift, for example. Like you better believe they have marketing meetings on marketing meetings, thinking about what demographic do we target? How do we target these demographics? What are we trying to get out of these demographics?
Yeah, but it's not always nefarious.
What I'm saying doesn't necessarily have to be nefarious.
No, I know, but I feel like you could put evil music under everything you just said.
You could put evil music under everything. Taylor does.
That 1989 record was a masterpiece.
I'm not saying it wasn't.
Well, all right. What do we title this thing? Just put tinfoil hats on them?
I guess so.
The one where we talk conspiracies.
We haven't even gone down all the fun rabbit holes yet, though. We have so much other stuff to just like catch up on and talk about that we probably shouldn't get into.
We could save that for our next episode.
I do want to talk to you. We can do this next episode, but I want to talk to you about your new mobile rig setup that we had a session with.
Oh, yeah.
We have a video out coming for that.
Oh.
I want to talk to you about this metal band that you just recorded. That I've gotten to hear some stuff.
Okay.
I want to talk to you about your first Atmos mix that you started.
Oh, God.
Dude, we have so much stuff to talk about.
Yeah. So put on your tinfoil hats and hit the subscribe button because there's more coming.
That's true. Actually, could you please leave your tinfoil hats off? Because if you wear them, our subliminal waves won't get into your brain. And ours are good waves, I promise. They're 432 hertz. They're going to realign your chakras. It's going to open your pineal gland. Is
it chakra or chakra?
Both.
I learned something.
Chakra Khan, right?
Yeah.
Boom, ticka boom, ticka boom, ticka boom. Are we hopping into Record Rex? Or do we have anything else to talk about? Oh, if you haven't already.
UPS my mics are coming back.
Ups. Wait, coming back.
Well,
those mics.
Almost.
Yeah. Oh,
my customs.
I didn't know that you didn't have them.
I sent them back to get some different tweaks made.
Ooh, that's fun.
Poos.
That's more fun than I thought they were the other mics that were thought to be different mics. To no fault of your own.
Oh, no, those have come back.
Okay. Yeah.
So if you want to buy a microphone,
he's got mics for sale, but not Michael's. That is illegal in our country of origin. What was I saying?
Record Rex.
I was saying something else before.
I ignored it completely.
You did, and then you got me off a topic.
And I have a good one.
It's okay. When I edit this, I'll realize what I was going to say. And if it's worthwhile, I'll put text right here.
They can't even see that hand.
Well, I went like this.
Okay.
Now it's time for Record Rex.
What have you... Ooh, I've got a good one for us this week.
Go for it. You go. Mine's weird.
It's weird.
Yeah.
Weird in a cool, good way?
I like it.
I'm on the wrong profile. Hold on. I was about to come in here bummed that I didn't have anything exciting for Record Rex until I stumbled across Abby Flynn. I don't recognize her name. This is her debut album, apparently. I looked her up on Instagram, and she's won a bunch of awards, but she's never had her own album. So this one, I listened to like 3 or 4 of the songs on the way up here, and the amount of times I just went, ooh, or oh man, or just had goosebumps. So many.
Can you soundbite those, please?
Ooh. Oh man. So this is Get Deep by Abby Flynn. The whole album, though, very much worth listening to. Just so much soul right out of the gate.
Something wasn't right in me.
Mm-hmm.
Now I got a new
Dude, it's
That
so
bass.
it's so loose but tight at the same time.
These are cargo pants. Those pockets are so deep.
Her harmonies too are just and the bass player, dude, picking all the right notes, doing all the right substitutions.
Oh.
I could listen to that whole album again today.
What is the album called?
I think the album is called Get Deep.
That's
Yep.
the title track off of it?
Yes.
Okay.
Track number 2.
Dang.
Yeah. I haven't heard the
Okay.
whole thing yet. I've heard like 5 or 6 of these tunes so far, but like that song we just heard, 389 plays.
What?
Yeah. The highest listened to song on the album so far is at 2.4 thousand. These are YouTube numbers, but
Always under what it was.
yeah, under what it normally is. But
Wow.
I love it. So good. Abby Flynn, go check it out. Links down in the description for all of our record recs all the time.
Okay. I'm gonna preface this one. This is not probably just casual listening. This is like if you're a little bit of a music nerd and you just want like a mental massage. Okay.
Concentrated listening.
Yeah. So
The way he looked at me and said that.
Tricot.
TRICOT?
Yeah. Do you know who it is?
No, I'm just guessing.
So hang on. I don't know how to spell this. OSOCHANSE.
It's off of this album.
Yeah.
Oh.
Not that one.
This one.
There. Yep.
Oh, Consensusu. Oh, Consensusu.
I am not giving good try.
Kara and I have been we started learning Japanese. Kudasai?
Yeah.
I only know like 4 words. For whatever reason, this app that we're using, it starts off with just, I know how to say please. I know how to say rice, water, and green tea.
What else do you need?
I don't know how to say thank you.
Oh, you need to be a polite boy.
I'm trying to be a polite boy. Anyway, Tricot.
Track 7. So see if you can figure out the meter. One, two, three, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. 6, 4, and 9, 8. But
I
it
love
feels
it.
so good. And then when they drop the chorus, they like switch between a few others. Now we're in like 7, 8, I think.
Oh.
See what I mean? It's like a massage. Like,
I'm into this hard though.
see, once you're at first, you're like, I don't understand. And then once you kind of just, your brain just kind of starts understanding it.
This is like Hiatus Coyote and Tron.
I was thinking like Chon minus the bear, hiatus coyote.
Yeah.
Like,
I like this a lot. Have you listened to much of the other album yet?
it's fun.
Yeah.
I
I'm
don't
going
know.
to give
I don't
them
know
a
what they're
follow.
talking about, but
Tricot is a Japanese rock band from Kyoto, formed in 2010 by vocalist and guitarist Ikumi Nakajima. Toko.
the comments that I did see on the stuff is like, when you know how to count but you don't know how to make music. I'm like, that is so rude.
That is
Like,
very rude. It's incredible. That song, 2.4 million plays, understandably. So they're a big deal. At least I would
had
assume
not-
in Japan.
It just popped up right after listening to like Hiatus Coyote, I think. So
That's cool. Tricot, I subscribed.
and you should too.
Indeed.
Hit that button.
Smack it, hit it, tap it, just tap it in.
Gently stroke it.
We're still talking about the subscribe button?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I heard it as it
Yep.
came out.
Hit the like button. Hit the subscription bell if you want to make sure that you don't miss one. Hit the Sweetwater link if you want to go buy something for yourself or for others, or just buy something and then give it away to somebody on the sidewalk if you're cool like that. Who knows? Whatever you want to do, just use that
you'd be
link.
so cool.
You'd be the coolest.
You're so cool.
Man, we're done. Okay. But I have one last story.
Okay.
So there is this YouTube
Bonus.
channel. I think it's called like the Say Yes movement or the Yes movement or something. It's this like worldwide collection of folks that just try to do things to help each other and help others and just like be good to each other. And I recently found their channel because they went to London and they found this random taxi driver. And to make this story really short, it's a 3-part YouTube series. He ended up being hundreds, or I guess over 100,000 pounds in debt to a loan shark. After already paying his entire loan off, plus another 20K, he still owed over 100 on an original $70,000 loan. Because his mom got sick and he needed to take off of work to help rehabilitate her or kind of ease her into the afterlife. He's a 71-year-old, I think a Sikh man that moved to London when he was like 5. He's a taxi driver, and his whole life, ever since this happened, is just like, I will never be free for debt. I will be working until the day I die just to keep putting food on my table. So this channel, they went to London. They wanted to find a taxi driver that would take them as far as they possibly could. And with the idea of like, let's find somebody cool that we vibe out with. And let's just see how high we can get the taxi meter to go by driving to like France or something from London. So they meet this guy, kick it off, have an awesome relationship. 2 years later, they fly him to America to like these places he's always wanted to visit, launch a GoFundMe. And they raised over 200 grand to give this dude. In the last episode that we watched last night that just aired, they had a watch party for this movie that they made dedicated to him, of him. And then it had like a packed out crowd of all these people from around the world that had been watching his story. And then they showed him the GoFundMe and they're like, you're free. Dude, I got goosebumps. It's so heartwarming. It's so nice. So check that out too, I guess.
Nice little bonus video for you.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.